You are now the developer. You're adding all this stuff, updating the game a ton, and then it's time for Easter. You add all of this stuff, there's so much hype in this game, and what better than to bring back an old event tower, just as they've lately been doing, and rework it to make it strong. But why would you just make it strong? You're making it cost 800 Robux after all. What better way to get a bunch of sales than to make the single strongest DPS tower that's ever existed? Just to nerf it 1 week later before it's about to go off sale down to the ground. Okay, maybe it's actually a bit of an exaggeration to say that this is nerfed down to the ground, because you could still place 40 of these things down and they can stack up quite a bit of DPS. But it is true, they did nerf the Swarmer quite a bit. Now we're going to start off here the exact same way as we did last week when I was reviewing this tower. Is level 1 strong enough to one-shot these abnormals? Still is. Although the one thing about Swarmer is that you shouldn't really be using it as an early game tower. That's not where it shines. Everybody knows that you get like a ton of these stacked up and you'll have the strongest DPS imaginable. Doing some targeting shenanigans here to kill these speedies off. Hopefully we have enough DPS, or fire rate here rather, to get all of these abnormals hit. Oh my god, that's a beautiful way to end that wave. I'm gonna definitely get Trapper here now to make things easier. But alright, the elephant in the room here is obviously the fact that this isn't TDS's first rodeo. A great example would be Jester. Everybody remembers how that thing used to turn around bosses and be basically the strongest thing you could hope for in this game. It allowed solo hardcore to be possible on a lot of different maps. They had a tower stronger than anything that's ever been seen before, and then suddenly switch up and nerf it. Another example is Gatling. Made a tower so strong that you could solo hardcore with just 4 tower slots, which at the time was completely unheard of. Like that's not even something that you would imagine in your wildest dreams. And every single one of those times, they just proceed to nerf the tower down to the ground after it's had its moment in the spotlight. Now, to the ground is only relatively speaking. After Gatling got nerfed, it was still useful, but when you compare it to its old version, yeah, it's not even close. Same thing with Jester. After they nerfed it, it basically just stopped getting used, because you went from a god tier tower down to just a regular old decent tower. And if you know anything about TDS in the community, is that nobody uses decent towers. I mean, everybody just has to use the best of the best. If you're not using the current meta, then you're just gonna get laughed at. Well, like, why aren't you using the best towers in the game? It's just a cycle that keeps repeating. Now, I haven't actually used Swarmer yet. I'm recording this video late because I had a test and I'm lazy to do anything, so I deal with it. So, you know, I don't imagine they made this thing useless. It's still probably going to be absolutely great. Hopefully great enough for me to beat Fallen mode with, since, you know, that's really my only DPS here. I have Mortar for crowd control and Trapper. But otherwise, it's all the Swarmer's job here. It's going to have to do all the damage here, especially for the Fallen King. So if I'm able to win on this crazy short map, that this map's actually terrible. If I'm still able to win here, then Swarmer is just certified good. Last time I did this, I lost because I haven't actually played TDS like at all. So I literally forgot how this game is played. But yeah, look here, I'm using Mortar now, so this should be no issue. I literally had no idea how meta this thing is, but Mortar is just like literally, it's like the best tower in the game. Besides obviously this guy, but even Biologist, you know, new tower, crazy good, and I'm afraid it might succumb to the same fate and just be nerfed like crazy, which hopefully it won't be. Anyways, Fallen Necromancer here isn't really that bad. Trapper is really good. It can handle all of the skeletons. And also I have DJ here just because DJ's great. I'm gonna set it on green track. And I don't really think I need anything. I think this defense is fine. Like, look at all these breakers and Fallens here. They're just gonna get shredded by the traps. Actually, I nearly got cooked, so let me just upgrade this farm. And now I can upgrade these trappers and hopefully not have anything to worry about. These big traps do crazy damage, so these Fallens are going to get destroyed. And then the B-bomb here is going to get a lot of damage. Yeah, okay, this level 3 guy has done 6,500 damage. Not as much as Mortar, but it is a lot cheaper, so, I mean, what do you expect? And in preparation for Wave 19 here, I think I'm just going to get the loaded Warhead. Also, let's use Swarmer here, get bees on all of this. Breakers are going to get absolutely destroyed, and there you go. Got this level 4 mortar. I guess I can also upgrade 2 trappers here, set one of these on landmines. Anyways, back to Swarmer here. I guess I can bring up the nerfs on screen again. Let's just read through them. Mainly what they did is they just increased all these costs because it was just too cheap before. But really the biggest nerf is the amount of stacks that the bees can go up to. Level 5 can now go up to only 30 stacks. If you multiply it by the damage it does, which is 3, then at max stacks, this thing can only do 90 damage per tick. And it's kind of crazy to say only 90 damage per tick, because that's still ultimately so much damage, because I don't even remember how much it ticks. 0.75 is the max tick rate. So this is 180 DPS, basically just with the bees, like without even its main attack. With its main attack included, 25 over 0.4, that's another 50. So this thing is capable at max stacks of now doing around 200 something DPS. A bit more with Commander, because Commander doesn't really affect stacks. But this is a whole 5 times less than it used to be able to do, which was, you know, now that I think about it, a little crazy. It was max over 1,000 DPS per Swarmer, which, you know, because you can place 40 of these, makes sense why these things were able to do like tens of thousands of DPS to Void Reaver. Uh-oh, this guy's zooming. Good thing he's just dead because of this one single Swarmer. Let's get max level Swarmer here. Honestly, not all that useful right now. You can see its damage though. Like, this is still good. This is without its max stacks. Actually, this is really impressive without its max stacks. It's doing over 100 DPS, which, I mean, that's impressive. For about 16k doing 100 DPS, that's still crazy good. Let's see what it can really do to this Necromancer here. Yeah, so, the Swarmer is still really good. The TDS nerf cycle may be brutal. It may destroy some towers, and I get it, the balancing team never really intends to do this. It's just, what can you really do when you have the most OP tower that's ever existed in this game? You have to compensate with a very big nerf. But when you do a really big nerf, it's really hard to hit that exact sweet spot of nerfing it just enough. It's really easy to not nerf it enough. Like, the tower needs a big nerf to be balanced. So I guess you can't really blame the balancers when it does end up getting nerfed too much. You can't really possibly test the tower in every single scenario, considering that there's not even that many active balancers, and that these guys only really have a week to do this. Like, it makes sense why some of these towers get nerfed too hard, but it's just kind of sad to see some of them never recover. Again, like Juster. Anyways, here's a Fallen Shield. Let's see how much DPS we can get off on this guy. I mean, we're already doing over 100. And he's about to, like, get nuked here because he's going to run into these traps. And, yeah, there goes everything that he has. I'm going to set 3 of these mortars on random, I'm not going to lie. It's better to have some of the shots land inside of clusters rather than all going at the front, one enemy. And I think that's 7 trappers now. These 3 back ones are all set to bear traps, so we're going to have a ton of damage built up in case stuff gets far. I'm going to max all the mortars, and then I'm going to start working on Swarmers. Like, as good as Swarmer is, the hordes are just a much bigger issue here for me right now than single target is. Well, actually, I may be wrong. Look at this Fallen Shield. If I had killed it quicker, then things would have been pretty nice for me. Regardless, I mean, everything else shouldn't be a problem. Fallen Tank's going to make it pretty far, but, you know, the bear traps just shred it. Now my mortars are maxed, I can start spamming max Swarmers. I'm going to set some of these guys on strongest, some of these guys on first. I believe that's the best course of action when it comes to Swarmer. Oh yeah, let's spam down these Swarmer abilities here for this wave, because this wave sucks. This is the wave I died to last time because I didn't have mortar. And now that I have mortar, look at how easy this wave is. Like, less than like 5% of my traps died there. I'm be honest, this doesn't really make that big of a difference. Yes, like, the price went up and whatever, but, like, it's still a very strong tower. Look at this. All just due to stacks alone, just straight up dead right there. Mortar set to random is underrated. Like, they like, it's the whole path blowing up instead of just the first enemy. Also, I think I can get some stacks on these angels. Yeah, if I just spam the bee grenades, I can even damage flying enemies. Okay, well, that's me at the placement limit, but, you know, I could just sell these farms and get even more Swarmers. Uh-oh, tough wave here, I guess. But let me just spam a couple of bee grenades here. Fallen Shield made it kind of far, but nothing near my bear traps yet. And that was it. Yeah, not even bad. Well, that's all my Swarmers, so time to switch my DJ over to red track. And the rest of Fallen mode, even though we're playing on a short as hell map here, Farmlands, like, we still do way too much damage for the enemies to handle. Fallen tank here, gone. That was so fast. That's like accelerators level of damage, and we're not using accelerators. Gotta use some abilities here. Let's just pop them all down. My game is so laggy. Look at this Fallen Summoner. It has health regen, and it's just gonna die to the stacks. How long do the stacks stay on this thing? Like, that's what I feel is really crazy about Swarmers, that these stacks just don't go away. I feel like they were intended to drop off, like, much quicker than they end up dropping off. And that's really the reason behind why it's so OP, rather than it having too good of stats around it or anything. This wave's a bit problematic. Still though, like, nothing's gotten to this last trap. I mean, 900 damage, but that's like nothing. We got 588 stacks. Yeah, okay, clearly it doesn't matter. Okay, if I have 20 swarmers, which I think I have more of, but 20 swarmers could still get me up to 600 stacks if they all get up to their limit, which is still some absolutely no joke DPS. But okay, look, stuff's starting to push through now a bit. Actually, never mind. Here comes the last wave with $600,000 to spare. Let's keep an eye out on this Fallen Honor Guard as we get up to pretty much the max tax here. This thing is taking over 1,000 DPS. Yeah, like, this tower is still crazy. Let's use DJ ability here, and now let's start dropping all of our B grenades. Once they get unstunned, that is. Let's get them all down. So Fallen King right now is taking over 1k a tick. Beast stacks are still going up. We have some issues back here, but I really don't think it's going to be that bad because mortars here can see the whole map, and I mean, I got the max traps. Uh-oh, spam some B grenades, please. Things are looking kind of risky here, but this guy's up to 500 stacks and climbing rapidly. We just killed everything, and yeah, this is an easy win, actually. 600. Oh my god. Could this thing still solo a Void Reaver? I'm going to try this. Here we have like 30-something swarmers, buffed by DJ, not even commander. Let's just see what we can do against a Void Reaver here. So we're up to a couple hundred stacks here. Let's go back down to time scale 1. Let's spam some of these swarmer abilities here. And look, we actually reached the limit, 919 stacks here. Now this boss is still losing maybe approximately like 8,000 HP per second. So yes, although this nerf is actually pretty significant, because at least it's no longer like 30,000 DPS, but can we actually go above the limit? No. The abilities don't bring us above the limit. You can still see, though, clearly nothing else in this game besides maybe 12 golden minigunners buffed by everything. So red, DJ, mercenary base, and commander. Maybe 12 gold minis can compare, but these things also have the added advantage of working when they're stunned, and they're cheaper, and you could place 40 of them rather than just 12, so this is definitely closer to balanced. Although, what am I saying, bro? This thing is still busted overpowered. No other event tower is this crazy. Look, all of these were stunned for so long, and well, you know, the Void Reaver's just been dying that whole time. I guess they don't solo it easily anymore, but still, bees can beat one of the hardest bosses in the game. So I don't know, man. Get it before it's too late. Also, like, subscribe, use Starcody, and I'll see ya.